Shame on each and every single hater that ever doubted the Buffalo Bills leading up into the 2024 season. Sure, am I overreacting? Am I running a victory lap after taking care of the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins? Perhaps, but let's not pretend like the entire world would be going crazy crowning the Dolphins as Super Bowl contenders if the roles were reversed going in to week 2, that Thursday night football matchup. Well, folks, what I wanted to do today is really just gloat, to be completely honest with you. I'm just kidding. I think it's time to celebrate because as Buffalo Bills fans, we were worried this offseason, right? Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis were off of this roster. You had a couple of key pieces that were nostalgic to the Buffalo Bills defense depart as well. And there were so many question marks of how this team was going to look. What was the identity? And I'm not sure about you. I'm not sure if I speak for everybody in Bills Mafia, but I feel like I do for at least 90% of them because this team has been destroying narrative after narrative after narrative, and it is a beautiful thing. Now, folks, I did want to point out this signed Keon Coleman football. This pristine auction just ended up sending it to me today. And you know what? I was thinking about keeping it for myself, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to give it away to one of you lucky viewers. Now, all you need to do to join this contest is quite simply be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. You need to go to my pinned tweet on my X account, @RealDanMitchell, like, retweet, and follow me there, and sign up for a free account of Pristine Auction. I am going to be announcing the winner, whoever joins this contest, during my live game reaction against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. So you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Now, say, for example, that you're not familiar with Pristine Auction. This is the #1 auction house, online auction house on the market today. All signed memorabilia from all of your favorite sports teams, pop culture, you name it. After James Cook's performance last night, I have been absolutely salivating over this signed helmet that he signed when he was at the University of Georgia. It's an addicting website. It's completely free to use and sign up. And say that you do end up winning a bid, simply use my code DMITCH10 for $10 off. So sign up for Pristine Auction regardless, and especially for a chance to take this bad boy home. So back to it, folks. I just kind of want to start with the narratives because I could not, change the channel enough to all of the mainstream sports pundits, media heads, absolutely throwing a parade the second that they saw that Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis were no longer on the roster. Now, while I was pumping out as much content as humanly possible for Bills Mafia in the offseason, letting them know, hey, this is not that big of a deal. Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis were entirely phased out of the offense the second that Joe Brady took over as offensive coordinator. And people would say, oh, Dan, but they were still out there. They were double teamed. Everyone thought they were going to Stefon Diggs. And lo and behold, my friends, we finally see the everybody eats offense. So, honestly, let's go on ahead and just take a look at everybody that has accumulated touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills thus far, who have been lead contributors. Obviously, you had a Mac Hollins touchdown week 1. You had Khalil Shakir found his way into the end zone. Last night, you had James Cook 3 times in the end zone. That was a carbon copy of the Dallas Cowboys game in 2023. Shout out to James Cook for doing his thing. Ty Johnson ended up completely beating Jalen Ramsey. Is Jalen Ramsey washed? Is he suffering through an injury? I don't know. All I'm looking at is the box score and the PFF scores. What I'm trying to say is that the targets are evenly distributed, and Dalton Kincaid hasn't even been implemented into this offense yet. It's a beautiful thing because we're seeing a lot of tape, particularly in week 1, where it showed that Dalton Kincaid was being doubled. He was getting the Stefon Diggs treatment, and he hasn't even been unleashed yet, folks. These defenses don't know who they need to double, hence why it makes us absolutely so dangerous. And that was the first narrative, right? That the Buffalo Bills had no weapons. And then Josh Allen ended up outperforming in week 1, 4 touchdowns, him being Josh. And then the media moved the goalposts once again. And they said, there's no way that this is sustainable. There's no way that this is sustainable. Josh Allen's going to have to play hero ball each and every single week if the Buffalo Bills have a shot at not only winning the division, but also winning more than 9 games. absolutely disrespectful, to say the least. But then what happens week 2, folks? What happens week 2? Josh Allen ends up finishing out the day with only attempting 19 passes, and the Buffalo Bills defense ends up stepping up, which, by the way, another narrative this offseason, losing out on Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde and Tre'Davious White, who hasn't played for this team in damn 2 years, Matt Milano during the preseason, who we were also without for like 10, 11, 12 plus games, completely dominated. Shout out Jamarcus Ingram for holding in 2 interceptions. Shout out Damar Hamlin for being literally the best tackler on the field last night. And I'm sorry if I'm yapping all over the place, but just more and more takes are just entering into my skull as I go on with this video. We saw Jordan Poyer last night attempt to take down James Cook, and he did not have a good game whatsoever. The reason the Buffalo Bills walked away from Jordan Poyer is because, tough pill to swallow, folks, Damar Hamlin is a better safety. All in all, this game was the James Cook game. They ran the damn ball. They took the most and got the most out of their opportunities when their defense created turnovers. Maybe one was just a gaffe, but everything else resulted in points. Of course, you had Josh Allen make a couple of big-time throws here and there, but that narrative of Josh Allen needs to play hero ball if this Buffalo Bills team has any shot at being successful, completely dead. And going back to the defense, I mean, last night there's a lot that we could be ecstatic about with this Buffalo Bills defense, right? Mostly because we denied and we completely defeated that overall mentality that this Buffalo Bills team was going to take a step back with all of these big names retiring, leaving, etc. But again, it goes to show you that Sean McDermott is perhaps the best defensive-minded head coach in the NFL. And his resume continues to stack. You look at all of these players that were on the Buffalo Bills defenses of the past that are currently on this roster right now, and there's no question that regardless of who we put out there, with the exception, of course, A.J. Klein, if you plug and play them anywhere within the secondary and the linebacker core, this team is so schematically sound that they are going to get the best out of each and every single opponent. I mean, look at what our defense did. Half of us forgot that Bernard got hurt in the first quarter of the game because our defense was so dominant. I know that I did. And you're telling me that you end up holding Tyreek Hill to 3 receptions for like 30-something yards and Jalen Waddle for like 6 receptions and 40? I would have called you absolutely nuts if that was the case. Shout out Christian Benford. Shout out Rasul Douglas over on the perimeter. And again, we did it without Bernard, and we did it without Taron Johnson, perhaps our best corner in this roster, on this roster. And the reason that I'm telling you all this is not to gloat, is not to say that I told you so. It's not even to take an extra victory lap. I understand that this is going to be a long season, and we have some very difficult opponents on the horizon. Obviously, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, quite frankly, from what I have seen from them on week 1, I mean, I'll definitely give you an updated take after I see them play the Browns this weekend. And then the Baltimore Ravens. We have a schedule that's going to be quite the test, but as long as we continue this balanced attack on the offensive side of the ball, you just rotate on who is going to be the key contributor. If we need Josh Allen to be a superhero one game, by all means, let it roll. If we need a game where James Cook ends up throwing up another 3+ touchdowns, he's a threat in the pass game, he is a threat in the damn run game. If we need a game where Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir need to step up and be those dudes, by all means. What I see is a well-balanced, well-oiled machine, and I see it being an absolute nightmare for defensive coordinators to have the ability to plan against. Now, defensively, I've said this for a very long time. It doesn't matter who you have in coverage, as long as your players are getting to the quarterback, your front 7. And obviously, we remember the Gregory Rousseau game week 1. 3 sacks. I'm pretty sure to this point, right now, he still leads the league in sacks. And then last night, rewinding already, the return of damn Von Miller. Folks, he had 4 pressures. He had 4 pressures and 1 sack. Maybe he wasn't just BSing this offseason saying that he thought that he came back too early. He looks like 2021 Von Miller out there. As long as our pass rush can stay relatively healthy, Ed Oliver had a damn game as well. I am never concerned about this defense, just knowing that Sean McDermott is the evil mastermind that put this concept together in the first place. And Bobby Babich certainly seems to be holding his own. Now, again, I want to say that it is only 2 weeks of the NFL season. I am absolutely thrilled that this team is currently 2-0. This is a great way to be, especially with how our schedule is going to be turning out. But this is a great spot. And I'll be honest with you, everyone in watching this video, or at least a small percentage of you, were laughing at me when I said that I had more confidence in this team than I did in the rosters of years past. And it's because there is an absence of selfishness. There is an everybody eats sort of mentality. Our defensive concept is too elite to kill, regardless of the personnel. This Buffalo Bills team is going to be a threat. I'm hammering down, I'm doubling down. This team is going to win the AFC East, and as long as we can remain relatively healthy, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, watch the hell out. Shame on everybody that slept on this team, that went out and said, oh, the Buffalo Bills have no weapons, dude. Oh, man, what's Josh Allen going to do? Oh, the defense, bro, they took a massive step back. The Cardinals went out there and absolutely kicked your ass, man. What are you going to do? At the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills are here to stay, and I cannot wait to see how the remainder of the season comes to fruition. Guys, smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications. My goal is to have 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I know that we can do it, so go on ahead, join the best live chat community in the football internet world. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.